Good morning. Happy Monday. I've missed you so much. I've missed this space. I've missed this community. I'm so excited to be here. I think it was 3 weeks. I want to say it was 3 weeks. Yeah, it was right around the new moon. And this week is a new moon. So wow. Wait, one, two, three. It's been a month. It's been a month. I've missed you. How are you? What is alive for you? What are you most grateful for? How are you feeling in this deep, intense Scorpio season? It's been a wild ride. Dude, it's been a wild ride for sure. For sure. Having an espresso, double espresso. It's Nicaraguan. I really enjoy it. It's organic. It's organic and it's low acidity. My hair, I can't get it to look just the way I want it to. So I've been wearing it half up. I'm just excited to be here with you and to share in this space and to show up whole and to show up full. And in that spirit, I really wanted to talk about mentors. I really wanted to talk about, it was probably it's a, choose your mentors wisely is what I titled this video. But it really makes a lot of sense. And it really has so much to do with, that show me your friends and I'll show you your future. But why are we listening to the person that we're listening to? I'll speak from I statements first. I really recognize that the intention for me taking the break is that I wasn't showing up full for you. I wasn't showing up. I would be like, well, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do this? And that's doing you a discredit. That's wasting time and that's wasting my time. And that's also not listening to the God of my own understanding that was saying, Sarah, slow down. Sarah, integrate. And so there's nothing that I put out onto my platforms that I myself am not integrating fully. I talked about down last week. I talked about on Instagram, and I'll post it later on today, 5 ways that your 3D life, your 3D job is what I talk most about, can be slowing down your highest timeline. And I can speak because I've been there, been in those environments, I've been in those situations, and I've been in those timelines. And I've also had mentors and leaders and preachers that I was following blindly. And the phrase that I've given to you numerous times, and I'm going to give to you again, is, would I trade lives with this person? Would I actively trade lives with the person that I'm listening to or that I'm ingesting their content from? And, this is just coming to me now. And if you're new here, when I'm talking to you and I'm channeling God, source, universe, spirit, divine intelligence, or my guides can come through as well. But universe really wants to say is like, if you don't know the person that you're listening to well enough to even trade lives with them, if you don't know enough about them to be able to say, I would trade lives with them. Because it's something like how to know if someone is a mentor, like how to know if someone is a mentor. Yeah, one thing that I wrote is like, do they just have nice marketing? Do they just have a nice backdrop and it just looks really nice and shiny? It's like what we can see with content creators, not so much mentors, but with content creators, like you can rent, a few $1 million mansion. You can rent a plane that looks like a private jet. So there's no business like show business. And so it's really asking, like, am I either listening to someone who has completed what it is that I want to complete, that knows a thing or two about a thing or two, that I'd trade lives with them? Or am I just looking at someone who's saying some really pretty things and, has a really backdrop or has a nice marketing team or things like that? And so I want to ask you, like, how do you discern? How do you, whether you're here live, whether you're, watching later on, like please comment below or share in the chat, how can you discern whether or not someone you're going to listen to them and you're going to follow them? How do you know that someone is a mentor or is going to take a mentorship role for you? How do you know that? I've had, many mentors in the past, whether it be in my corporate, my 3D job, or whether it be in my spiritual awakening. And what I've known the negative side of things, I've known the positive side of things. I also have mentors that I've never met. Dearest sweet Pam Gregory has been a mentor for me for many years. Elizabeth April, she was one of the first channelers that I really resonated with. I've never met this woman before in my life, and she's been an incredible mentor to me. Both of them I've taken, steps away from, both of them that I don't always ingest their content. Pam's information before, where I don't watch any of her stuff before I create my own. That's out of alignment. I'm not going to let someone do all the studying and then regurgitate it in my own content. I'm going to let my channel stay clear. So I watch her stuff, like on the day of the new moon or the day of the full moon, so I can feel like I'm just sitting having tea with Pammy. And if you know Pammy, you love Pammy. We all do. But I really recognize that I had to do some deep diving. And the negative side of things. I've also had mentors in my own life that I followed blindly. I followed blindly. And more often than not, what came for myself, I'll speak from my statements, was a bit of a savior complex, was a bit of a, you helped me when you got me through this. So then I stayed within that reality. I stayed within that paradigm. I stayed with that person, even though every single red flag was going off, even though everything was like, I would never do things that way in my business. I would never, like, there's one thing to have someone to teach you to learn what not to do. That's one thing. Like, for, if you come from trauma, big T, little T trauma, we've had parents like that. We've had people like that in our lives, but not someone that we choose to actively stay with as a mentor, not someone that we actively choose to listen to and to follow and to participate with. I also, let me see. Yes, trade lives with someone. Do I know that they're alive? I'm just going over all of my notes. Finally follow, taking breaks. And one other thing that I really recognize for someone that, like, I want to follow and I want to respect in the way that I follow them is that, is someone empowering me? Or are they saying you need to come to me every week or every month or every this or every that? You need to come to me because I am the only channel, I am the only vessel. And so that's something that I believe wholeheartedly in my work, is that I want in every single session, every one-on-one session, and every membership and every video, I want to empower you to channel the God of your own understanding, to find your own way to communicate with the divine, with the Council of Nine, with spirit team, your angels, your dragons, your guides. My intention is to empower you with the tools so that you can do this on your own. There's no person, and this is important, we're all ascending together as human beings. So there's no one person that's already ascended, that's already like gone into the 5D. We kind of dip our toes into it throughout the year astrologically, but there's no one that's figured this all out. So when we have a mentor, when we have someone that's, technically farther along, they're still experiencing this energy right alongside of us. They're still experiencing these upgrades right alongside of us. And so, how are they navigating that? How are they really showing up? Showing up. It's something that, I talked, it was like a month ago or something. I put a video, if 2025 brought you to your knees, then this video is for you. This community here kept showing up this year in the thick of it, in the muck of it, in the arena, the man in the arena speech. And I'm so proud to be part of that community. I'm so proud to stand alongside you. And one thing that I love also about that community is that we take our time. If we're integrating something big, we're going to take our time and we're going to listen, and we're going to make sure that it's kind of, I'm recording my video tomorrow on Jupiter, on the Four Horsemen series that I started last week. And Jupiter has a really interesting transit. And I'll talk a little bit because the sun is trining Jupiter today. And I brought the old wood back. This is my OG from a while ago. I think you could see it. Sun's way up here. Probably not the best one, but sun over here, trining Jupiter today down here. I have to move it. Trining Jupiter over here. It's a grand water trine with Saturn over here, retrograde. Retrograde, Sun is conjunct Lilith right over here. And what I love about Jupiter's transit, what I love about Jupiter's transit is that she scoots in her sign. She goes through one sign pretty much every year, every year. So she went into Cancer early this year in about June, and she scooted. She scooted. She didn't go retrograde until last month, and it was at 25 degrees of Cancer. So she just booked it. And then she's going to retrograde as she is now to 15 degrees of Cancer until March 10th. Then she's going to go direct and she's going to continue on her path. And then she's going to go into Leo energy. Where is that? Hold on the 30th of June next year. What does any of that mean, Sarah? There's something in the book, I want to say it's Think and Grow Rich, but it has a lot to do with money mindset and has a lot to do with manifestation. Whereas make your first decision quickly. You can always tell if someone is going to, and it's something that you see in entrepreneurship, you see that in content creation, you see that it's like just do it. You see that with my style, like Aries, just do it. Just absolutely like record, post, and just ask questions later. Figure out how to do it later. And so when you make your first decision quickly, if it's the wrong decision, this is important. Make your second decision slowly. And so I find for this community, if things have been happening slowly, we'll talk a lot more about that. And then, because if things have been happening slowly, trust that. When things happen quickly, we trust it. But if something is not happening, and for Jupiter, this is a little bit, it's kind of like a little inner teenager ask. It's like, I really want it. I really want it. It's a big gregarious thing. And a lot of this has to do with home and safety, my pocket of the world. I even called the original video for Jupiter in Cancer, Home Awaits. And so for so many people, home has been looking for them. They're looking for their community in physical or in the digital world. We're looking for all these. We're looking for mentors. We're looking for the person to help guide us. We're looking for all of these things, and it just hasn't been happening. Maybe we've been put in a hermit space where we have to find the light within ourselves. Or maybe that space is asking us, just listening, to make sure that we have a mentor and not a pedestalized false prophet or someone of that capacity. We cannot pedestalize anyone. Like I said, we're all ascending together. Nobody has done this yet. We're all human beings. We are all receiving these light codes. We are all upgrading. It's kind of like dearest Pam Gregory. She talks about it like we're all getting on the same airplane. Some of people are in the fast track. Some people are in A or B or C or Z. We're all getting on. The airplane's not leaving. It's not going anywhere. The analogy that I use is we're all at the same party. We're just finding the table that we're supposed to be sitting at. So right now, if something is not happening, how can we sit with that and say, okay, maybe, do I really want what it is that I'm trying to manifest? Do I really want what it is that I'm working towards? Am I walking away from something? Am I running from something? Am I actually running from something instead of saying like, oh, no, this is what I really want? Because when things are in alignment, there are people in my life, in my human life, that, yeah, there's someone that I know, and I'll keep her private information private, but within a month, she changed her job, moved, her boyfriend got a new job, everything happened in their life, like within a month's time, So when something is in alignment, it's just, and it's going to be easy, it's going to be effortless, and it's not going to be a like, look at me, look at me. It's not going to be like a, oh, Rachel, it's lovely to see you again. I missed you. I missed you. I just missed you so much. Oh, happy Monday. Happy Mercury retrograde. I'm so grateful to see you. And it's very much when things happen, especially with Jupiter, I'll talk a little bit because it's Jupiter's trining the sun today. Does it have to be flashy? Does it have to be? And if we want it to be flashy, what's the intention behind it? Do I want to prove to those people like I was right this whole time? Or do I want to show to others you can do this as well? What's the intention behind your platform? What's the intention behind what it is that you're sharing? Why are you showing up? And this is important because leaders need leaders, mentors need mentors, all of those different things. So if you're keen to have a mentor, or if you are looking towards someone that has a platform that has done what it is that you want to do, just know that there's a few of you behind you that are going to look to you for advice and for guidance. And they're going to say, wow, I can do that too. That's one of the greatest things that I've ever experienced on this platform is how many people have said, I'm shooting my shot because you inspired me to do it. It's in a totally different arena. It's somebody who's starting a tarot business or someone who's starting their own business, whatever it may be. But they said, like, your tenacity made it so that I was like, I can press record. I can do that. I can definitely do that. And it's such a beautiful thing. We want more people to be abundant and wealthy, with good people, with good money, do good things. So it's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's about the human collective. It's about the human collective. And so my intention, for taking the time away, for pausing, is I would never ask any of you to do something every single week to sacrifice yourself in a way where you didn't have a time away, you didn't have a break, you didn't have a space to slow down, you didn't have a space where, oh, I can the preciousness of Sundays. I had a friend call me on a Sunday the other day and she's like, "Is this legal? Is this okay?" I was like, "As long as it's not work related, girl, you're fine. You're totally fine." But it's I actively walk my talk and I share that with you. And I love being more vulnerable. It's something that really came out since eclipse season, that like I don't want to not show up fully. I don't want to hide things. I don't want to be like, everything's great and fine, yet my ears are bleeding. Like, that's not doing any positivity for me, and it's not doing you any good either. I want to show you that there's heart in the path, there's authenticity in the path, and that just because it might look like a rocky terrain from someone on the outside, you just show up and whistle while you work and enjoy it. And so the past few weeks have been a really nice, it hasn't really been slowing down. It's just been able to take the time to really, let me rephrase that. I'm integrating the times to slow down. I'm integrating the time for self reflection. And I'll show up full when I'm full. And I'll show up with something to say when I really have something to say. And feel like I spent so much time in, I would say, like spring, or like around like April, May, June, depending on the hemisphere that you live in. So like April, May, June of this year, I feel like I was like journaling and writing poetry about being in the in between, and kind of, it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But in the same way, I was like, if I talk about being in the in between, maybe I'll get to the other side sooner. Like maybe it'll just pop up, or like clarity. Like, yeah, I think of like all these different things that I'd posted. And I was like, but the astrology is saying it's going to be this, and the astrology is saying it's going to be this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that for all of us. So I find that I've found my own inner knowing in the past few weeks. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's not so much I need to reach that to you or pitch that to you. If you're here, you know me. And if you're here, you know my story, you can ask questions, and you know that I'm never going to ask you to do something that I myself am not doing. It is taking incredibly deep, courageous, introspective work to go inward right now. And I talked about it on one of my Cafe Chats emails recently. I think I mentioned it here on a blog, but Scorpio season is very, very deep, dark, and transformative, yes. But for so many people, what we're experiencing, we have to experience it alone. We have to look at our own reality in the mirror. We have to look at ourselves and say, I'm the one coming to save me. I'm the one coming to save me. So there's so much to do with making sure that we're not pedestalizing mentors. That's a human being. That's a human being. There's, you know, one mentor that I still have to this day. We don't work together one on one anymore, but if ever I need to call, or if ever that person gets a download for me, they'll reach out. But there was one time, and it was one of the first times that we really started texting back and forth. And usually it was like session and then months and then session and then months. And this was one of the most inspiring things. I sent a message. It was a long message. I'd say it was in like the early afternoon. And then the next day I hadn't heard from them. And so at the time, like, I had an iPhone, and they had a not iPhone. So I just messaged, and I was like, "Hey, did you get this message from me?" Sometimes my messages don't go through for these things. And it was about an hour, and that person responded back and she said, "Yeah, I got the message. I was just having a very large afternoon, and I didn't feel that it was appropriate to respond because I couldn't respond out of, a grounded, authentic space." And this was someone that all of a sudden I found more common ground with. I was like, "They're not perfect. Oh my God. She gets rattled. She has things in her life that take her down." And I was like, "Oh my God, I really respect you. Thank you for saying that." And it transforms the way that I've showed up for clients. It's transformed the way that I won't respond if I can't show up full, or if I'm in the midst of my own arena, or if I can't take the actual time to be able to respond with full heart. I can't do it. I won't do it. I wouldn't ask that of you. I would never ask you to show up at a gathering. I would never ask you to show up at the cafe, at the table, if you don't feel full, if you don't feel good to do it. And so I don't think this is a little all over the place. I think it all kind of encompasses together. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. But I ask you, how do you know when someone is a mentor, or how do you know if you've pedestalized someone? And whether you're here live, or if you'd like to comment below later on, if you're watching this later on, like, how do you know if someone is, you want to listen to what it is that they have to say? Like, what are the key things that really ring true for you? Let me check my notes, tree lives. And even asking yourself when to walk away. I've taken breaks from channelers before. I've taken breaks from mentors, and there have been times where conversation with my guides was, I talk about that? I talk about that. So this is a while ago when I did a video about like what seeps into your work, like what seeps into your work. And for me, it's, like sovereignty, personal growth, leadership, taking radical personal responsibility. I know that that's like a language that, like, when I'm channeling, when I'm doing my business, when I'm doing my work, like, that's going to come through. Comes through sometimes a little bit harsh. I had to put a disclaimer, and then most of my videos, it's not in my live, but I had to put a disclaimer. Sometimes it comes through a little bit snappy, and I've had people comment before that it is not their flavor, and I totally respect that. That's going to come through. That's the way that I channel through. And it can be fun. It can be a really enjoyable, good time. I love the way that my messages come in. I love the way that the nine comes in. I love the way that God, source, universe, spirit comes in. But it's not going to be for everyone, and that's totally okay. Not everybody's for me. I don't want to be for everyone in any capacity. So it really is something that, like, that. You come to the cafe, like leadership, growth, and development, metaphysics, we're integrating them in a creative, expressive way. Like, that. That's full on, full force everywhere. So something that I've noticed for, like, people that I've followed before, whether it be on Instagram or whether it be a channeler that I would listen to, it was more on Instagram, like tarot readers, when I wanted to get like a nice message or something like that, where all of a sudden I would notice certain personal belief systems that were getting sprinkled in, that were not a part of the bio, that were not a part of any of the content that they were sharing, that were not a part of any of this is why I do what I do. And so there was this little bit of a disconnect where I was like, oh, that doesn't match this. What you're saying and what you're channeling, that doesn't match. There's a little, like, if, like, just be honest with me. Just be honest. And in this day and age, like, you can smell a liar from across the room. And so much so, it's not saying that that's lying. It's like lying by omission. It's wanting to be there for everyone. It's wanting to be, totally different that I had come to me yesterday that I want to talk about. It's a complete sidestep, but I think I'm going to include it. But okay. Something that really, that I was in contemplation yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday. And something that really hit me, which has come through in different areas of my life, which is I'm simultaneously living. Oh wait, no. I want to make sure I say it the right way. Basically, it was like about like the human collective and seeing things online and seeing, spiritual entrepreneurs, or just being on any platform and content creating and all these different things, that the bar for mediocrity as a human collective has been risen. So it's like what used to be baseline, you're like, you have to have a small business. You have to be having 10K months. Like if you're anything under 10K months, like what are you even doing with your life? Like you just like the bar for mediocrity has been risen in such a way that it's like, if I'm not there, what does that even mean? If I'm not, what does that even mean? And it's making this disconnect between who we are, what we see, what we're ingesting, how we're pedestalizing, how we're doing all these different things. It's making this big confusing soup that trying to find our own individuality, our own path forward has become very strange and very confusing all at the same time. So I thought that was really fascinating because I thought to myself, like, I'm living the life of my dreams while simultaneously living my greatest fear at the same time, in the same breath, in the same moment, and really getting to sit with that with radical presence. They're like, wow, I didn't know that I could endure. I didn't know that I could experience such intensity on both sides and just be like, yeah, this is what we're in. This is where God has placed me. So it's obviously exactly where I'm supposed to be. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been an absolute wild ride. I would say the biggest thing that I would ask you to focus on this week, we're going to go into Sag season, which I'm very, very excited about. It's always like the wild west to me. I love Sag season. And the new moon the day before in Scorpio is conjunct Mercury retrograde by a degree. I've already put out my video on that, so definitely go check that out. And it's really asking us to look deeper than what the topical thing is, than what the quick fix is. What is it that we want? Why are we asking for it? You can look at the energy of today, of the 17th, and I put a post on that. The sun is trining Jupiter, but it's a grand water trine with Saturn, and Lilith is in the mix. We can use the astrology for complete. And what I've talked about before is, you can either look at your life and say, this is what's coming up for me, and then check the astrology, and you'd be like, oh, that's where the sun is. Oh, that's what's going on. Or you could check the astrology first and say, that tracks in my life. As within, so without, as above, so without, as above, so below. So really spend some time asking yourself, like, where is it that I'm going? Who can help get me there? Who has whittled the tools that I want to learn how to whittle? And that's it. And then spend more time listening to their content, spend more time hiring them, spend more time around them. But also with Mercury retrograde right now, spend some time. Last video that you and I have together, that's amazing. Whether you unsubscribe from other people, that's amazing. But spend some time really shaving down to say, if I wouldn't trade lives with this person, or find your own baseline. That's really what works for me. If I wouldn't trade lives with the person, I'm not going to let them judge me, and I'm not going to let their information or their thoughts, words, actions, and intentions into my energy field. I'm going to be very specific about that. And in that reality, it can become quieter. It can become a little bit more lonely because we're not going from podcast to podcast to podcast. We're not going from ingestion to ingestion to ingestion. We're looking at, what am I receiving? What do I even make of that? How am I going to integrate that into my life? It's not like so much the analysis paralysis, but it's getting caught in that I'm not ready. You are. You are ready. We're all ready. We're walking earnestly towards our final time, or to our highest timeline. And with that comes community, with that comes team. And so I have had bosses and not leaders. And it does a lot more damage than I think that we can really moment. And so that's something. I've had servant leaderships. There's a whole philosophy on servant leadership, whereas like the customer is always right type of a mentality. You always, always, always give. But I also don't think that that's healthy as well. It's sacrificing yourself. But if we know that we're a part of the whole, that we can't save the world, but by saving ourselves, we save the world. How is it that we can show up for ourselves? How can we emulate and embody the type of leader that we desire to be, to have in this world? And then by embodying that, we attract that healthy leadership. We attract that. And so right after this, I'm going to post, I've already posted it on Instagram, but it was 5 ways how your 3D job can kind of stall your highest timeline. I'm going to post that right away after this, after we sign off on the live, because I think that there's a few key things in there that I've personally lived through. So I'm speaking from my statements and my experiences. And one of the things that's really popping up is like there's a language of lies in there. Whereas, I've reached out to mentors, I've reached out for one on ones, I've reached out for assistance, for help, for guidance. And I've heard people say, like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'll get to you. And then discredited me and ghosted me and didn't treat me with the respect that I was giving to others. So when we start from ourselves, when we start with ourselves, and we start respecting ourselves the way that we respect others, when we lead from a full cup, when we lead from a full heart, that's when the vibration shifts. That's when our vibration shifts. That's when the vibration of the people around us shifts. That's when our whole paradigm shifts. So start here. Start in your own heart, my dear. And really ask yourself, like, am I the type of leader? Am I the type of mother, father, a human community member that I would want to? It's kind of like I've heard phrases before, like, would I buy myself a coffee? If I saw myself, or would I date myself? Would I want to like buy myself a coffee? And 100%, I'd be like, girl, let's sit down, let's chit chat, let's pull some cards, let's have a good time. Let's you've been some places, I've been some places. And so really, I invite you after this video to take a few moments and ask yourself, like, why am I looking for a mentor? Or, am I a mentor? Am I embodying what it is? Am I walking my talk? Like, really check in with yourself. This video is going to be available for everyone, whether you're keen for a mentor, whether you are a mentor, whether you're a leader. This is just for everyone within the multidimensional cafe community. Really check in with yourself here. New moons are perfect times to plant seeds for manifestation. And so the fact that this new moon is conjunct Mercury retrograde is a big deal. It's a big deal. Start from here. Start from here. Ask yourself what it is that I really want, and what is it that I'm looking for outside of me. That's key. That's 100% key, is that and we're already ready to do it. Sometimes we're just lazy. Sometimes we just don't want to, or sometimes we don't want to put in the effort. But take a moment there as well. It's kind of like, and I've given this analogy before, it's like playing to the empty room. If you don't want to play to the empty room, why do you even want to do what it is that you're doing? Really, because if you need there to be an audience to be a teacher, if you need there to be an audience to say, like, okay, I'm worthy of something because somebody is coming to me, can you not embody it without? Can you not fully say, vibrationally, I'm on my highest timeline, I'm embodying my full self, I am the greatest expression that I can be as a human being? So in a quantum way, that energy is available for someone on the other side of the planet to embody as well. But if we can't feel comfortable playing to the empty room, why do we want to be doing what we're doing? Are we afraid to put in the reps and sets? Dude, and look at it in a quantum way. Look at it vibrationally. Playing to an empty room, you're living the life of your future self. You're doing it. You're on the live. You're showing up. You're making the content. You're doing the things. You're preaching and teaching. That's what your future self is doing. That gets you closer to them by showing up and doing the dang thing. You know what I mean? So reality. It's something Dr. Joe says. It's so powerful, which I absolutely love. Like, it's a feather. What we see in our 3D reality is a feather, like just a minuscule proportion to what is actually happening energetically around us. Our brains can't handle it. We can only see and perceive what I see and touch is real. This is coffee, it's this cup, this crystal, this computer, the electricity, all the different things, the candle in front of me, all of that. So living into the vibration, working with the universal law of vibration, become the vibrational match to the you that you want to be, to the mentor that you want to attract, to the mentor that you want to be, to the successful version of yourself that you want to be. Really get into it. And like I said in the, what was it, the New Moon and Scorpio video, really ask yourself, when no one's looking, when no one needs you, when no one's watching, what is it that I really want? Really look at that. Really look at that and spend some time journaling it out. Spend some time with Mercury retrograde. Journal this out. Get into the unconscious and the subconscious of your body and your mind. Like, get in there and spend time before the new moon this week and spend time before Sag season and really go above it or around it. I say this all the time. If you're not sure exactly what it is that you want, go above it. You're not sure where you want to live. I am living in my perfect home, draw it out. I do that all the time. Like, it's go above it or around it. I'm in the healthiest relationship. Have met my divine boyfriend, girlfriend, partner in divine timing. All of my relationships are healthy and honest. Like, go bigger, broad brushstrokes on that. Broad brushstrokes on that. Fascinating for you. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here with you, and thank you for your grace and understanding on taking a break and taking a pause. I'm so grateful. I'm going to pull one card for us as we close up. And as always, if you have questions, please comment them below. I'm so grateful for all of you and really reminding yourself to quiet down enough to listen, to listen. What card could this community benefit from seeing? Thank you so much. We are the map makers. We are the ones coming to save ourselves. Yeah, we're the ones coming to save ourselves. So making sure that every single person in your life, there's no pedestalization. It's like, oh, I would want to sit and have coffee with you. Yeah. Would you sit and want to have coffee with a mentor? Would you trade lives with them? Look at all of this. Look at all of this. And really making sure during this season, especially with the new moon, conjunct Mercury retrograde, am I walking my talk? Am I fully walking my talk? Am I asking my community to do something that I'm not doing? Then look at that. Am I integrating all aspects of myself? Is there something that I need to do more of? Is there something I need to do less of? What is it? And be honest about what seeps into your work. Let me see if I can find that and post it below. I forget what I called it, but it's good to be home. It's good to be home. I know it's big, but I feel like you can actually see it a lot better. And when it's not live and we're not in a little like kitty cornered space, you can see it a little bit better. But yes, I just feel like I'm too into a niche for what I need mentoring for, but I think it might just be I haven't found my tribe yet. I'm so grateful for you sharing. I'm so happy that you're here. I don't want you to niche down, not in any capacity, not in any capacity. There's a video that I put out very recently that it was kind of like making accessible, like take it out of the internet shopping mall and that you're whatever it is, like whatever that you do, who you are is the storefront. And so your name is going to be the label. And, I use the parable of tarot reading. If you don't talk about all your other fun little things that you do, it's just you sitting there with one tarot deck, just saying, I read tarot cards. And so that can be very intimidating. But do you like to hike? Do you like coffee? Do you like Lord of the Rings? Like, hang up a few things. Do you like cool colors? Do you like warm colors? Show me your aesthetic. Show me what you care about. Show me what you like, a little bit more of yourself. So it's definitely, I would say, not so much niching down, but just asking yourself, like, who is someone that's their most authentic self? Kind of like what I was saying before, like go above it or around it or below it. Not a single person is going to have the same diamond shine that you have, but really looking at the analogy that I give is the bridge, which is like, this is where I'm standing and this is where I want to be. I want to monetize my blog. I want to, have one-on-one sessions with people. I want to create a course library. I want to be, mentoring people, whatever it may be, but just like not the niche, but like, what is it that I want to do? I want to get paid to do all of these things. Then who has done that? Who has monetized their blog? Who has figured out how to show all sides of their niche. And it doesn't have to be that they've even monetized it, but like who's doing similar things to what it is that I want to do and that I can learn from them. I can learn how to whittle my own tools from whatever it is that they're preaching and teaching. So please, for the love of God, don't niche down. Do not do it. Absolutely not. Do not niche down. Just find your, 0 to 1, your A to B right now that you want to go over and just focus right there. That's what I would do in that capacity. But Tribe is a huge deal. I'm really grateful that you brought that up. And there is, like, in the depths of Scorpio season, in, third decade of Scorpio season, it's very much, we can listen to each other and we can share, but no one has any idea how to feel what it is that you're in. So I honor you and I see you in what you're in. And I'm grateful to be a vibrational match. That's why we're sitting at the cafe together. But I can't say to you, like, I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like. I can't, because I don't know what it's like to stand in your shoes. And I don't know what it's like to have all the different things that you've gone through. That's like picking one thing, the one to go over is going to be helpful, and finding people that you feel safe enough to share with. Like, it's such a privilege to be someone that people feel safe to share with. And that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. And so to really, and this, oh, you just opened up such a beautiful, beautiful new conversation, but we've got some time. And it really is, it's something that, oh, oh, I'm trying to really, I'll share a personal story because it's something that, when the sun was transiting my 11th house, and when I had a lot of really intense things happening in my 11th house, and that's community, friendships, and wishes for the future, something that really hit hard, I really recognized that I'd be sharing with people, not clients. This is, personal conversations with people, and they weren't listening to me. They were saying, "Oh my God, everything that you just said, this reminds me of my own life. And thank you so much." They were projecting me as the coach or as the, channeler or whatever. And it was like a session that I wasn't getting paid for. And I had to set some really intense boundaries during that time period. And it really kind of, it hurt. But at the same time, I needed to learn that lesson as an experiential learner, to be like, we're not a match. We're not a match. So tribe is very important. And so really even spending some time journaling on, like, what are the expectations that I have for the people around me? I can't expect every single person I invite into my inner circle to channel the same way that I do. I can't expect them to do that at all, but I do expect them to pour into me the same amount that I pour into them. I expect them to listen just in the same way that I listen. I expect them to hold space the same way that I hold space. And I feel safe to be able to share my true self with them. I don't have to say, like, this might sound weird, or, this is a lot. And I don't have to preface myself. I can show up full. And I really, have a much smaller, but a much more powerful inner circle. And something about, good friends are busy friends. And so it's being able to show up for tribe, being able to ask for what it is that you need. But I'm really grateful for your comment and for you sharing, because tribe is so important right now. It is so important, but it still does kind of feel a little bit lonely even with tribe. So really ask yourself what type of, like, journaling, like, journal pages and pages and pages and pages after this, pages and pages and pages, especially before the new moon, especially before we call anything in. But asking yourself, like, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? What am I looking for? And what are the standards that I have for the people that I keep around me? We have standards for the clothes that we wear. We have standards for the food that we eat. Like, I eat mostly organic. I'm not going to all of a sudden just be like, oh, no, I can just have this just for this one time. We have to have standards. I want you to have high standards, because you have high standards for yourselves. If you're here at my table, you have very high standards for yourself, and I want you to keep that. I just want you to let that go through every single other pizza slice at the table, not just the first house. I want you to have expectations and high standards for everything in your life. I want your life bougie. I want you just, like, wants, needs, and desires. I want 2 extra zeros after that paycheck. I want it big. I want it beautiful and bold and thick. I want you to be so happy and tended to, because you can give and do more in this world when you're tended to, and when you're happy, and when you're free. So, yeah. And I love that you said yet. Yet is one of the most powerful words that we can ever say. Are there any other questions or any other comments, anything else that I can offer or direct you towards? It's the last week until the 20th, the coupon ends. I have a discount for the reading room and the paradigm shift room, two of my membership groups, 10% off your first month. I will have sorry, it's Mercury retrograde. It's just hitting hard. I will have a Black Friday sale. That'll probably I'll start the 27th or the 28th, and I'll go through Cyber Monday. I haven't decided exactly the amount, but it'll be a percentage off anything on my website. So I'm excited for that. That is a wonderful thing. I have also updated, one of the biggest shifts that I've made, and two things actually that I did. One of the biggest shifts that I've made that I have talked openly about, but I'll share it now, is that I've changed all of my live one-on-one sessions to a donation-based model. And it was a huge trust fall that I took with the universe. I wrote an article on it and I've shared in video and I've shared on my website that the prices have not changed, but they're now suggested donations. So every one-on-one session will be booked through a consultation. And I talk openly about it in the video, but it's something that I actively feel passionately about transmuting I know you're the person to help me, and I know that you have the tools that can help me, but I can't afford your services. I know I want to invest in myself, but I only have this type of a budget. I'm actively inviting that conversation. We're going to transmute those conversations in real time. We're going to decide on the price point and the time block that works for both of us. And then we're going to book that session. So I invite you to my website to take a peek, but that's one of the biggest things that really shifted over the time that I've been away from the YouTube lives, as well as I've created a grounded astrology, your chart reading toolkit, it is not a teaching program, but it is a toolkit. Thank you for that. Videos where you spoke about your awakening journey out of the corporate world. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so grateful to share in this journey with you. I'm so, so grateful to share in this journey with you. It was a trust fall. I was like 33. I'm 38 now. I was 33 when I completely left my corporate job behind. I was being prepped to be the area director of blah, 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 and took a trust fall with the universe. It's been a huge privilege to be able to do this. And the people that I've met along the way have just really lit the posts for me, because it's just, when you're walking down a path and you know that it's just not going to end well, that's where I was going. And leaving the corporate world, I'm so grateful for the language that I have now, because I can really make efficient. I know I do long range, but I can make this a little bit more efficient and I can help you make sense of it. That's why I'm here, and I'm really grateful to share this with you, because it's no joke what we're in. And it's kind of, how do I say, the phrase that I used before is like, when you're on the wrong train, get off right away, because it's going to cost you more money to get back to where it is that you started. There was something else that I heard, and I can't quote exactly where I heard it, but it just like shot between the eyes. It's like, if you're about to get on an airplane and you knew the plane was going down, would you get on it because you paid so much for the ticket? Or would you be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to go down that path. I don't need to go down. And that was like, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. So I'll post, because I really did a video today and have been talking a lot more about my corporate days and kind of helping people that come from corporate make sense of this, because people really can get in a space where we stall our own awakening because we're like, I'm making great money. I'm in an environment like the whole paradigm shifts. Dude, is wild. Is wild. So I'm grateful to be here with you. Please reach out if I can ever be supportive. I'm just grateful that you're here. I'm really just grateful that you're here. None of what we experience is about ourselves and ourselves alone, at all. At all. It just, I never knew that this road would be what it is. And I didn't know that it would be such a long and interesting and exciting, adventurous journey of a path, but it's led me to this moment to be a vibrational match for you. So for that, I am extremely grateful. So I love you. It's good to be home. It's good to be back. It's good to be here. Please reach out. I'm going to post that video that I was talking about that I posted on Instagram, and some links if I can find what seeps into your work. I'll read my notes if I can and put everything out there. And again, tomorrow we're going to talk heavily about Jupiter, the transits of Jupiter. It's really the Four Horsemen series. We're talking about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and like why everything's crumbling down and what we can build instead, and just making a lot of sense. The astrology gives an incredible amount of validation for why we're experiencing what it is that we're experiencing. Like I said before, check your chart and then be like, oh, that tracks in my real life. Or you can check your real life and say, oh, that tracks in my chart. So we're going to make sense of it. And we're going to go through planet by planet and kind of work with the planet, as well as some of the accountability buddies that are working with it. I'd say for Jupiter, we can definitely check up on the nodes as well as work with Mars. There's a really, really, really interesting conjunction that's happening next November which is Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node all meeting up in Leo together. So it's just let's work on this now because that's going to be some very heavy hitting energy. So more on that tomorrow. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I honor every single one of your souls, and I'm just so proud to be a vibrational match with you. Reach out anytime, send me an email. I just love hearing from you. And head over to my website, take a peek, see around, and we can book a free consultation and just have a chit chat. I can answer any questions you may have, or just send me an email. All sessions will be booked through consultation now. It could be text, email, a phone call, or Zoom as it has been. So please reach out. Let me know how I can best support you on your journey. And I will see you next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. Have a beautiful day, my dear.